right, ladies and gentlemen, the sun's shining in Tullahoma, Tennessee, Middle Tennessee. We're just plain living here, and I'm John Gray.
And I was just swimming by yesterday, so
Really?
here we are.
You
I'm
were.
Peggy Burton. Nice to be here.
And I'm Jim Fuller.
So
You are.
I am. I'm happy to be here.
I like that orange tie, buddy.
Well, thank you very
and you're
much.
beginning to look like Van Gogh.
I'm Van Wint.
Van Wint.
Are you talking about with the beard?
With the beard,
John's
yeah.
cultivating
He's just
there?
got to get a little bit more here.
Yeah.
Looks nice. I think
I
he
told
does.
Fran, I said, I can shave the rest of my face in 15 seconds, and it takes me a half hour to get this right here.
Yeah.
All the older you get, the more wrinkles there are, and the more wrinkles there are, the more you get to cut yourself. Bleed. You get to bleed.
Have you ever tried to use a straight razor? You know,
No.
I always
Oh,
wondered
goodness.
how people did that
That-
without
I've never
cutting their
used
face
one,
off.
but I can imagine somebody could get hurt.
You know,
with that.
I think there's a guy here in town, I don't know for sure, that does that. I remember when Moon's Barbershop used to be downtown, you
Yeah.
could go in there and
And they would-
get a shave.
Yeah.
And that's a really, really, really good shave.
Is there a men's barbershop in Tullahoma now?
Yeah, I think so. It's over, remember where Pogue's Market used to be?
I do, yeah.
It's right behind Pogue's Market.
Oh, okay.
And I think he shaves people over there.
That's
That may be the only one in town.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Might even have a shoe shine box, I don't know.
I wish we did. I miss the shoe people that, put the little heels back on your shoes.
I told Joe Lester one time, I said, you need to go out in that mall out there and put a corporate, in a lot of the big malls you see, you go downstairs or somewhere and there's a little checkerboard tile, and it's shoe repair shop. And I have to go to Nashville to have my shoes. If you have leather soles or leather heels, there's nowhere you can get it fixed except on Church Street. And they won't fix some of them.
Oh, they won't?
No, I have some Florsham shoes that the tops are great, but the bottoms
Are gone.
leather, they won't mess
They
with
won't
them.
do-
No. And most all your shoes now have rubber. They have rubber
I guess they want
soles.
to do simple things,
Yeah.
maybe.
Well, the concept is now you just throw them away.
Throw them away, yeah.
Throw 'em away,
Buy
yeah.
another pair.
Well, a lot of
yeah.
malls.
Just like
there-
everything else. Like these
Everybody
flat screen
uses it.
TVs.
Yeah.
There's a mall in Murfreesboro, or that used to be anyway, and I think it's still there, where you can go get a 15-minute massage sitting in a chair while they polish your shoes or stuff like that.
No kidding.
Wouldn't that be a cool thing?
Be
to do?
wonderful.
Right. Right.
A lot of people don't have more than 15 minutes,
Right.
and I'm sure just people working in the mall probably love to stop in there.
But that was the little shoe shine boy.
What
Johnny
was that song?
Cash.
Wasn't there a song called
Johnny
The Little
Cash
Shoe Shine
about the
Boy?
shoe shine boy popping his rag.
Oh yeah.
Get rhythm when you got the blues.
Right.
Yeah. I'd forgotten that. I hadn't thought of that in years.
So speaking about all that water,
You have written us.
well, this is old, but I brought it back. This is for last week. I'm floating the river in my bed, with my wife in the covers still a snore. Damn, what a flood with that storm last night. Thunder and lightning like never before. A catfish just swam by her head. The mule drifted by on the old barn's door. The current so strong all the goats are dead. The canes break in sight with crickets galore. Think I'll skip work and go fishing instead. I'm floating the river on my bed. Is that just a mist or a waterfall ahead? I don't know, but in I go because I'm floating the river on my bed.
Cool. That's about the way it was.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw it. I saw some pictures, and a lot of people I think did, that were online of Rutledge Falls.
Uh-huh.
You couldn't even tell it was a waterfall.
Yeah, it was.
It was full.
Even. It was
just full.
Yeah.
It's
It was
amazing.
amazing.
Yeah.
And we did a show. We did our Pink show.
How did that
Pink
go?
It was great. Pink
Yes,
is
it
the
was.
color of hope. We did at South Jackson. A lot of those guys are from Fayetteville, and the other side of Fayetteville, Park City. They couldn't cross the river.
That,
No
because
kidding.
They had to go
drove
up
in.
and around the mountain and come in the other way because the river. JD said the river was to crest 31 feet above.
Yeah.
Well, Shannon and I came home through Shelbyville, Huntland to Tullahoma, and it was still very high.
Yeah.
But of course,
So it was a
clear.
mess. We had a lot of water.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've had that much rain. So, well, February set a new record, I think.
And we were very fortunate because at some point we did have some wind, but we didn't have the straight line winds like they said because the ground was so soaked as many oak trees would have fallen like
They would have just
matchsticks.
dropped over,
I'm
right.
sure.
Because there's nothing to hold them down. The
Right.
ground's just turned
So how about
loose.
your place? You get flooded out? I had 2 roads closed.
Really?
Yeah, I wasn't there to worry about it, but there was 2 roads closed to my
No, I
house.
didn't
Yeah.
seem to have a problem. But,
Good.
Jimmy lives on high ground.
I guess.
We all need. I live on pretty high ground.
Yeah, but you got to go.
I
You got to
gotta
go
get
through
through
a
it.
couple of valleys
Right.
to
To
get
get
to
there,
that.
But I
yeah.
was living on the lake. I had my down the where the hill goes down. There was a lake behind me. So
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I had lake property. I started to put it up for sale.
Yeah, you could have during that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, a couple of quick things. The best picture, the Oscars were this weekend, and the Green Book
You won.
won Best Picture, and then the Best Actor was Rami Malek from Bohemian Rhapsody. Actress was Regina King for Beale Street. Best Actor Supporting was from Green Book. Best Screenplay, Green Book, and the song Shadow from A Star Is Born.
Right.
Gaga won Song of
That's
the
gotten
Year.
a lot of. Did you know that the Bohemian Rhapsody guy that played whatever his name is, Freddie Mercury,
Right.
the guy that sang that was not the guy that played that. It was a Canadian.
No, really.
Yeah, he was mouthing.
He was Manili Vanilli. You remember them, Milli Vanilli?
Yeah.
We're getting the hurry up sign. Yeah, we got so many people that want to be on this show today. We just can't BS as long as we need to. The useless dribble is over right now. We'll go to a quick
Some
commercial
people out
break.
there saying, thank God.
Thank God. We'll go to a quick commercial break and we'll be back with a great show today, so don't you go anywhere.
Keith Barnett here at Russell Barnett Kia in Tullahoma. Check out this 2018 Kia Stinger, yours today for only $370 a month. Kia is the power to surprise with its 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Stop by Russell Barnett Kia in Tullahoma and let us tell you why we are #1 in customer satisfaction. That's Russell Barnett Kia in Tullahoma, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty. And remember, my question is, why buy anywhere else?
Ah, the glory days. Running to daylight on the gridiron and chasing a ball with a mind of its own. Cheering the team to victory and marching to the beat of your own drum. Memories that last a lifetime. But sometimes we're reminded of our glory days in ways we'd rather forget. Get back in the game. The rehab team at Life Care Center of Tullahoma is ready to help you live and play well.
Can you imagine a world without beauty, without color, without creativity, without art? Well, neither can we. Keep arts alive and experience all kinds of arts and crafts at the 2nd Annual Arts Alive Tullahoma on the newly renovated lawn of the South Jackson Civic Center, May 25th and 26th. For details, visit TullahomaArtsCouncil.com and come spend the day at our fun, family-friendly arts festival.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
All right, folks, we're back, and I'm glad today to have Rich Brooks with me from Templar Indoor Shooting Sports right here in Tullahoma, Tennessee, located on the Winchester Highway right past TUA. And good morning, sir.
Morning, John.
How are you?
I'm good.
You know, we love the fact that we have this facility in Tullahoma. We've discussed this before, that you did a lot of
Absolutely,
research and you looked at numerous places you could have put your facility and decided on Tullahoma, and we're proud and happy that you did, because it's a very unique thing where, excuse me, you can learn and understand about firearms, firearm safety, how to use them, how to clean them, how to load them, how to shoot them.
The answer is
all
yes.
those things.
The answer is yes.
And-
I've defaulted to telling people that. Do you
Yeah.
do? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, to everything. We do it all.
Excuse me. And what we want to have Rich come on from time to time is give us an idea about some updates on maybe some new laws or some new things that are happening, new things you're doing, new classes you have.
In legal updates, we have several things happening throughout the state as far as what legislation has been introduced into the state, into our elected officials to vote on and stuff. And so there's a couple pieces that are there. Some of them I agree with, some of them I don't. They're working on a potential enhanced carry permit. So that's something, and I don't know that I necessarily agree with that, because the question was asked of me, what do I think of the current permitting system? And I think we got it really good, because I've taught close to probably upwards of 3,000 people in the permit course over the last 8 years now or so. And I've seen many different levels of experience, from zero experience to military veterans or former police officers that enjoy shooting and things like that, to competitive shooters. And so I think, number one, the basic understanding of the law, when we carry a firearm in public, not only it's our right, and I will defend that right until the day I breathe my last breath,
Certainly.
but we also have to understand the liability and responsibility that comes along with that. And I think the state's done a pretty good job at getting the understanding of those responsibilities, and especially legal liabilities that come along with that. And it can be down simply to your choice of ammunition that you decide to carry in your pistol. If you're involved in a self-defense situation, then you got to think about all the things, because that's just the beginning. For a very short, brief, excruciating, traumatic time of your life, that starts a chain reaction of things, because you're getting the law involved, you're getting potentially courts involved, and lawyers, and your finances and things like that. So people really, I think it's a good thing that we're educating people with not only firearm safety and marksmanship and the basics of carrying, but getting the word out about the actual liability and responsibility that comes with those rights. And that's, people do stupid stuff all the time.
I do.
We all do. And if somebody didn't do something, we wouldn't have to create a rule that's saying you can't do something like that.
Right.
You know. And so when it comes down to it, we want people doing the right thing. We want people being responsible for our adult decisions and our adult actions. And I think right now, the way we've got it, it's a good thing. And you know, I'm all about the Constitution, and everybody should be able to defend themselves, and the spirit behind the Second Amendment. But all in all, too, it's up to us to seek that training, and so that's why we've got all of it.
Okay, here, excuse me, I have a frog. One of those frogs jumped out of all that water and jumped down my throat.
It was that catfish swimming by.
Catfish, yeah. Mr. I don't understand a whole lot about what you just said. I understand a lot about what you just said, but one thing that got me is you made a statement about it makes a difference in the ammunition you use.
Correct.
And so that means a regular guy or girl carrying a regular gun might be in more trouble if they have an armor-piercing round that they're shooting at someone versus another softer load or different type of load that you would use. Is that what you meant?
It's the correct concept of what I meant. Yeah. So people. Price comes, usually it's the dollar where it comes down to. So using Full Metal Jacket, it's a less expensive round, it's more affordable, the quality control is minimal in order to have a quality product, so to speak, from the manufacturers, and there's several manufacturers out there. But really what it comes down to is if you're carrying a Full Metal Jacket ammunition in your daily carry firearm, that ammunition is not designed for self-defense. And what it could do is it can go through a target, maintain a velocity to where it could ricochet, or it could potentially hit somebody or something else behind your target.
Okay.
And so what we want to do is have that appropriate self-defense ammunition where, and think about legalities today.
Sure.
Every firearms manufacturer and every ammunition manufacturer out there expects to be sued a lot. And so they need to keep themselves straight in how they create their product, the engineering of the product, the quality of the product. And so if somebody uses a just to throw something out there, a Winchester full metal jacket round, and they're involved in a self-defense situation where they have to use deadly force, and they are justified in using that deadly force. However, if that round goes through that person and it ricochets off of something and say hits a small child or an innocent third person, that's a criminal liability issue, and you could be justified in using deadly force to defend yourself, but you are going to be held criminally liable if you hurt an innocent third person.
Wow.
And so, we're forced into a position.
Right.
Because it's not our choice to be attacked by somebody. It's not our choice we don't walk out and say.
But it's our choice to be smart in what we have in our weapons.
Absolutely. Those are the choices that we need to make that come with that great responsibility.
Okay. You've educated us. We're out of time. Is there anything else you want to say, wrapping up right quick?
Come and see us, Templar Shooting Sports, 1101 South Jackson Street, TemplarShootingSports.com on the web, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
There you go.
Thanks, John.
Richard Brooks, thank you very much,
I appreciate
buddy.
it,
See
brother.
you next time.
You got it.
We'll be right back.
Let me tell you about the toughest guy on earth. He does the work of 2 jobs, but only gets paid for one. He's tough enough to feed the man that gave him a lifetime of nourishment. He has the crazy strength to lift the man that raised him up without even flinching. That's right. No employee of the month bonus check here. This guy, this warrior, will always be by his father's side, even if his dad will hardly remember. Good luck finding a gym to train for that. If this guy isn't the toughest guy on the planet, then I don't know who is. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
Is this the year you want to get fit? If so, check out just some of the things Tullahoma Parks and Rec has to offer. Kickboxing, aerobics, silver sneakers workouts, swim lessons, boot camp, water aerobics, basketball, Zumba, yoga, pickleball, lap swimming, treadmill, karate. Get fit, Tullahoma, and have some fun with Tullahoma Parks and Rec.
When your family suffers the loss of a loved one, the caring and compassionate staff at Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel are standing by to assist you in every way possible. We are proud to support local industry and offer only Batesville caskets. Many funeral homes don't own or operate a crematory. We utilize the only crematory in Coffee County. Your loved one never leaves Coffee County. We can accommodate any need and any budget. Consider our complete pre-need service to remove this burden from your family during their time of grief. Lock in today's low costs and protect from inflation. Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel. Our family caring for your family.
I am so excited today. I have Laura Stone with me, and they're having the green eggs and ham breakfast.
Coffee County Imagination Library. It's our annual green eggs and ham breakfast coming up this Saturday morning.
At 8 o'clock?
8:30 to
8:30
10:30.
till 10:30, and it's only $8. And the wonderful Damron's restaurant. What's the exact address? Do you know? Do you have it
The
written
address
down?
of Dameron's is 714 East Lincoln Street in Tullahoma.
Right next to, sort of next to the school over there.
East Lincoln.
East Lincoln School, so you can't miss it. The Damrons have always been giving people, and they've done this for you for how many years?
We think it's our 10th year, but we need to look that up. But I think it's our 10th year they've been doing it for us. And they also let us have their meetings in their side room.
They're fabulous.
On, in the morning. So
As I saw in the
been
paper,
very
I
good.
think yesterday, they're doing food for anybody.
They're doing a free
that's
meal
hungry.
once a week, yes.
Excuse me, and that is, I mean, how many people do that? That's a fabulous thing to do. It always boggles my mind that there are people that are hungry, and the fact that they notice. Well, tell me, what made you decide to call it Green Eggs and Ham? I mean, of course, that's perfect from the library.
Well, it's Dr. Seuss' birthday week, so it's Dr. Seuss week, and so that's how we started the Green Eggs and Ham breakfast. And Dameron's makes green eggs for us. Not the whole meal is green, but the eggs are green, and we'll have ham, and they usually have some potatoes, and then it also includes a drink. And children under 4 eat free.
Wonderful.
But yeah, we decided to honor Dr. Seuss by having the Green Eggs and Ham breakfast, and it's a lot of fun.
Do we have anybody dressed up like Dr. Seuss?
Yes, no, not like Dr. Seuss, the Cat in the Hat.
I mean the Cat in the Hat.
The
That's
Cat
what
in
I
the
meant
Hat
to
will
say.
be there. And our lovely children's librarians from Lanham and Manchester Library will be there to have a story time activity
wonderful.
for the children at 9:30 in the side room. So bring the kids under 4 eat free too. So
That's wonderful. And bring all the kids you have, because they'll enjoy this, and it'll also inspire them to read our Dr. Seuss books is still as popular as they always were.
They still are, yes.
Because they've been popular since my children were small, and that
Yeah.
was a long time ago.
Still very popular. It's timeless.
Yeah. The Cat in the Hat. I love the Cat in the Hat. Dr. Seuss was an interesting writer, and his, the South-going snitches and the snitches on beaches. I can't remember all of
I
it.
don't have it all memorized either.
I loved the fact that all of his books had a moral.
Oh, yes.
Of some sort.
Yes.
And
yes.
Horton Hatchin, that Who, sitting up there for all those.
And lots of rhyming and rhythm and vocabulary words. There's so much more to it than just the fun of it.
I had a grandmother that spoke in rhyme to me when I was a child, and she this is a long time ago, way before any Dr. Seuss, her things to me reminded me so much of
Wow.
Dr. Seuss when he came out.
That's special.
Because she would say, I see a bug, it's on the rug. And, I grew up with that.
Yeah,
So poetry has been important to me. And when
Yes.
Dr. Seuss came out, I just loved it just as much as the kids did.
No
'Cause it
wonder you're
wasn't
so
boring.
creative.
I just hated See Spot Run. That was the books when I was a kid. And nobody in my house ever said anything like that, so I didn't get it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so how long have you been doing the library? Imagination?
I've been a
thing?
board member of Imagination Library for at least 7 years. And of course, we started it in Coffee County in 2005, a year after Governor Bredesen started Governor's Books from Birth
Right.
Foundation that helps pay for all the
Which was
books.
a wonderful project. And you obviously love what you do.
Yes.
And do you find kids are coming and getting books as much as they used to?
Well, the children receive the books in the mail. From the time they're born until the time they're 5 years old, they get 1 book a month in the mail.
Is that tied up with the Dolly Parton deal?
Well, Dolly Parton started the program. Dolly started the program in 1996 because she wanted all the children in Sevier County to get books in the mail. That was very special to her. Her father was illiterate, and so she wanted the children to have all that book experience. It started in Sevier County, then it spread to all 95 counties in Tennessee. Now it is spread all over the country, and it's in Canada, Mexico, England, Australia, now going into parts of Germany.
Isn't that wonderful?
And even Africa, which Dolly started in Sevier County in 1996.
Dolly
It's amazing.
is an amazing individual.
Yes.
And there's so much more depth to her
Oh, yes.
than some people realize. She has done so much for Sevier County. My husband was from up in that area, and I have had the opportunity to watch it grow. All right, let's don't forget about Green Eggs and Ham. Show up at, do you want to, go ahead.
I wanted to add one more thing. People think that Dolly pays for all of it, but she doesn't pay for all of it. Every county has to come up with money to get those books out to the children, and so we have a lot of children to provide that to in
Right.
Coffee County.
That's why you need to buy a ticket and go to Dameron's Restaurant Saturday.
Thank
We'll
you.
be back.
It's time for every family and business in Tullahoma to go green and recycle. Tullahoma Public Works makes it simple and easy to recycle. Just place your recyclable materials, paper, plastic, aluminum, and cardboard beside your garbage container on the same day your garbage is picked up. Your recycled materials don't have to be in a fancy container. Recycling is not only the right thing to do, it makes sense. Recycling pays. Paying to bury our garbage costs each of us. Please do your part. Let's go green, Tullahoma, and recycle.
Hi, I'm Cindy.
And I'm Jacob. I'm the Rooster.
And I'm the Red Mane. And we would like to welcome you to
Roosterware.
Yes, Roosterware is a cottage industry producing accessories for men, women, children, babies, and pets. All items are hand cut and sewn locally. Roosterware specializes in bow ties, pocket squares, scarves, cufflinks, neckties, and aprons of all sizes for all ages. Baby products include onesies, diaper covers, bibs, and burp pads. All bow ties, tie it yourself or pre-tied, come with an adjustable neckband. All products can be made with the material of your choice, as special orders are available upon request. Don't be standing back looking at fashion. Create your own with Roosterware.
Come visit us at
roosterandredmaiden.com
to find our handcrafted designs for
the cock of the walk.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we're pleased to have joining us on the set now Curtis Heiss, who has done something extremely interesting, I think, and I'm sure you will as well. Ran across it on the internet by mistake just one day, and I am so glad that you've been able to come here today and kind of tell us what you're doing, because it's such an interesting subject, and I can't take credit for finding Curtis. Peggy Burton actually found Curtis and got him on the show. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
Sure. So I'm organizing, and it's an ongoing project. We're cleaning up the Deckard family cemetery. It's located in Winchester, Tennessee. The Deckard family are very significant to the Franklin County history. They came here in the 1830s from Virginia, and so Franklin County was just established in 1807, so Franklin County was still very young. They were among some of the very earliest settlers here, and they had a plantation down there, and then of course the city of Deckard is named for one of the sons, Peter Deckard. He kind of facilitated the railroad coming through that area, the Nashville-Chattanooga Railroad. They put a depot there on his plantation, and so that sprang up to what is now the city of Deckard. And so Peter Deckard actually left this area in the 1850s to move out west, and that's where he died. But his family remained here in this area, his parents, his siblings, and some of their children, and they're buried in that cemetery there in Winchester. And it's been neglected and grown up. It looks really like you're in the middle of the woods. This cemetery is located in a subdivision with a lot of houses, but it's just about a quarter-acre lot that's just overgrown with woods and vegetation. So my brother-in-law and his wife had recently bought a house there in that subdivision. They discovered there were these old headstones there from the 1800s, and they told me, and I'm a big history nerd, and so I took an interest in it and started researching and found out who was buried there, and I teamed up with the Deckard Historical and Preservation Society, and we decided, well, hey, let's clean this thing up and make it accessible for the public to come and walk among these headstones and read them and learn about these people and their local history.
So to start off with, you didn't know anything about the Deckard
I did not.
cemetery.
I really didn't. When I went into the cemetery and I started noticing a lot of the last names were Deckard, that was interesting to me because I've lived in Franklin County all of my life and I didn't know anyone with the last name Deckard. I knew about the city of Deckard, but I didn't know anyone with that last name. And I thought, well, there's got to be some kind of connection. So after doing some research, I found out there was in fact a connection, and these were the very people for whom the city of Deckard got its name. Yeah.
So you, in the process of going through all this, you've actually done research on the individual headstones, and obviously, and found out something about the people.
Right. Yeah. And Michael Gillespie is one of the guys I've been working with. He's one of the co-founders of the Deckard Historical and Preservation Society. He's probably got a lot more knowledge on it than I do myself. I just have a background in history. I got my bachelor's degree in history from MTSU, and when I saw this project, I just started digging into it. And he really had a lot more knowledge in the Deckard family itself and the history of Deckard. So he and I have worked closely together on this project, and he's been kind of filling me in on some of the missing pieces that I had on what little bit of research that I did on it.
Obviously, if the cemetery fell into disarray, there's no relatives of the Deckard family that still live there.
Right. I did some research to try to find some of them. There are none in this area that I found. I did find one of the descendants, and I did email him. He and I talked a little bit through email, and come to find out he is one of the direct descendants of this family, and so he was very excited about it. I think he lives in Florida, and so he hasn't been up here to see it yet, but I'm hoping once we get the cemetery all cleaned up where it is accessible to the public, that maybe he and his family can come see it and reconnect with their own family history.
When I first saw the video on Facebook, I think it was, it appeared to be in major disarray, so it's been neglected for an awful long time.
A very long time, yeah. I want to say that subdivision has been there about 20 years or so. And whoever had developed the subdivision did put a fence around it, so they did take enough care to do that. But then as far as inside that fence, it was just left to grow up. And it's so thick in there that you can't really even walk through it in some places without ducking and weaving through all the vines and briars and everything. So we're trying to remedy all of that.
How many people are buried there, do you?
We so far have counted about maybe 13 headstones. Yeah,
Right.
and some of them are very young children, only about a year or two old. Of course, back in that day, that was pretty common.
Yeah,
so we did have one cleanup event back in January on the 12th, and we got a lot done on that day. And we have another one coming up March the 16th. That's our next big one. We hope the weather cooperates with us. We did get a lot done on January the 12th, but there's still a lot left to do. We're kind of doing it in phases. What we want to do, as you can see there from the pictures, it was very overgrown. That's before we started, of course. We got about half of it cleared up as far as the small underbrush on January the 12th, and we hope to get the other half cleaned up on. There's how thick it is. You can see, you can barely walk through it. But on March the 16th, we hope to get the rest of that cleared up, and then we'll have to assess whether or not we want to take down some of the larger trees that are in there. There are some very tall, mature trees inside there. We may have to take some of those down. There's one of the headstones there.
And you mentioned the headstones are kind of a little bit
some of them are broken,
deteriorating.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I've been also communicating with the MTSU Center for Historic Preservation, as I have some ties there at MTSU, so I've reached out to them. There's the day that we, back in January 12th, all the crews
so
that we
you
had
had a pretty
gathered
good
there. We
turnout
did.
for
We had a
that.
great turnout, yeah. And we got a lot done. But no, the MTSU Center for Historic Preservation has been really instrumental in giving us a lot of advice on do's and don'ts. And once we get everything cleared out, then we'll start taking a closer look at the headstones and what we can do to preserve them, or whether we should or not. It may be best just to leave them as they are, but if there is some way that we can clean them up and preserve them without damaging them, then we do want to do that.
So you really learned a lot from that.
I've learned an awful lot, yes, sir.
And I would guess that in that day, the Deckard family were fairly prominent people in this area. Would you?
From what I understand, there were two plantations. So they had two plantations in the Franklin County area. So they must have been pretty prominent. There was one there in the vicinity where the cemetery is located, which is on the south side of Winchester, just past the hat factory in that area. It's in the Magnolia Estate subdivision. And then Peter Deckard, from what I understand, had his own plantation, which is in what is now the city of Deckard.
I see.
So they must have been doing okay.
In that era, it would have been fairly common, I would guess, to have your family people buried on your property, would it not?
Right, yes, sir.
Yeah, okay.
And so I think that's what happened is with, and of course some of this is speculation, but when Peter left and the rest of his family stayed, they just stayed right in that area, and those who died, they just buried them right there on the plantation. And then evidently some of the other family members did leave, and that left none of them in this vicinity.
I see. And I assume the residents of this subdivision knew of this, right?
Well, from what I understand, some of the kids would go in there and play. It was their little fort or their little hideaway because it was very secluded, and they would go in there and play. We found a lot of trash and toys and things like that in there. But some of the residents have come out and talked to us, and they did know there was a cemetery there, but nobody knows really how to get started with cleaning up a cemetery. You know, you've got to find the landowners, and you've got to find the family members, and you know, you can't just walk onto someone's property you don't know whose it is and just start, you know, cutting down trees and stuff. So there's a lot goes into it, and we've done that work.
Who owns that property now? Do you know?
Mr. Grider, I believe it's Larry Grider, who owns it.
I see.
And
okay.
I did talk to him, and he thought it was a great idea, that it needed to be done, and he gave us his blessing.
Oh, super. Okay. So you've created a little job for yourself here for over the next several months.
It is a big task, but I think it's a worthy task, and I hope my vision for the cemetery is that one day it'll be cleaned up to a state where people can go in and walk among the headstones and read them and reconnect with their local history. Maybe teachers can take their students there, teach them about some of the local history from Franklin County.
If somebody wanted to help you with this, either through financial donations or manpower, how do they reach you?
Well, so there is a phone number that is set up. It's 931-389-1890.
Okay.
That's for information just on this cemetery cleanup. There's also the Deckard Historical and Preservation Society Facebook page. You can contact us there for information or donations toward the cemetery. If you know me, Curtis Heiss, you can find me on Facebook and reach out to me directly if you'd like. That's fine. Or Michael Gillespie. He's also the other member of the Deckard Historical and Preservation Society that's been helping me out with this tremendously.
I think I forgot to ask you is what era was that cemetery? I mean,
these headstones are all from the from 1800 to the 1850s. So this is pre-Civil War.
Yeah.
This is pre-American Civil War.
Unbelievable. Curtis, thank you so much for coming by and sharing that
Thank
with
you for
us.
having me.
All right. Folks, we'll be right back with more Living right after this.
Have you heard the news? Russell Barnett Automotive Family has launched its new website, russellbarnett.com. Very user-friendly. Over 1,000 new and pre-owned vehicles to choose from, online credit applications, hometown auto rental, customer testimonials, trade appraisals, certified collision center, service department scheduling. Too many reasons to mention why I keep asking the question, why buy anywhere else?
My wife Jackie has always been the life of the party. But things changed when she couldn't be as active anymore.
They told me I needed a double knee replacement.
It's not as big a deal as it used to be, but she still needed to go to rehab.
I was amazed at how good the therapists were at Life Care. They took really good care of me.
They took excellent care of her. And now she's back doing the things she loves, and that makes everyone happy.
Life Care Center of Tullahoma wants you to get active and live well.
So you've been meaning to do something healthy, commune with nature, get outdoors and meet new people. We have the perfect solution. Come hike with us. You can find a Tennessee Trails Association chapter near you, including Clarksville, Columbia Franklin, Highland Rim, Jackson, Knoxville, Oak Ridge, Memphis, Murfreesboro, Nashville, Plateau at Crossville, and Upper Cumberland. We're on the web at TennesseeTrails.org. It's fun, it's stress-free, and it's good for you. See you on the trails.
Talking history about this and that. It's conversations with John and Pat. With John and Pat. with John and Pat.
Hello, everyone. I'm John Rickman.
And this is Pat Welch and John. We're here for segment 78
Hot dog,
of the Conversation with John and Pat.
And we've got a good little story for you today, but this song has nothing to do with it. It's
well, that'd be about par for the last 50 segments.
You know, the guy. Well, I think who his name is a minute before I finish this song up. I'm going down that road feeling bad. I'm going down that road feeling bad. I'm going down that road feeling bad, oh Lord, and ain't gonna be treated this way. I'm going and I ain't coming back. Yes, I'm going and I ain't coming back. I'm going and I ain't coming back, oh Lord, and ain't gonna be treated this way. I'm going where the climate suits my clothes. I'm going where the climate suits my clothes. I'm going down where the climate suits my clothes, oh Lord, and ain't gonna be treated this way. I'm going down that road feeling bad. Yes, I'm going down that road feeling bad. I'm going down that road feeling bad, oh Lord, and ain't gonna be treated this way. And ain't gonna be treated this way. Did I miss a word there, Pat?
John, if you need to understand that there's a whole lot of ignorant music people such as me, that if you wouldn't snicker, nobody'd know what happened.
You know, Pat,
that's a good song.
And this is our 78th segment.
78th.
And you know, we don't practice.
And we're normally better when we don't.
Yeah.
We've had our worst times have been when we've spent a half hour getting ready to go.
We're going to talk about a place today that used to be in Tullahoma, and some of the children still live here, and there's still children living of this family, but Rico's Pizza. It was an iconic type place in Tullahoma, and years ago, a fella named Eddie Rabbit wrote a song about Rico's Pizza restaurant. And would you show Eddie Rabbit's picture? Some of you folks might have seen this gentleman. He was, I can't remember all his songs that he performed, but he was a great singer. But he did one called Tullahoma Dancing Pizza Man. And supposedly this was about Rico's Pizza restaurant. And the restaurant was out on what street?
Davidson
Street.
And we've had several discussions today.
Out where you might say Ferris's Mini Barns were, and then down that street.
Yeah, it's behind it.
And
to
down
the side.
The street to Bruce's Automotive.
And, across the street from the Business Forums.
Squad 1.
Near Squad 1 in that area.
So it was really kind of off the beaten path, and I've been told...
There was a circle drive, I've been told, that led into it, and it was the only building or place of business on Davidson at that time. Now, there's 5 or 6 there now, but that was only one. And you mentioned that it was kind of dark. And,
I remember it being a lot of shadows, maybe from street lights, from what, but it was just kind of a house, almost like in a neighborhood, and they made a nice restaurant out of it, which supported that family for many years. And the family members were Ray Jr., Teresa, Harry, Tony, Jeff, and the youngest was Lewis. And I got some of this information from Lewis because I knew where he was, and I was told that they served up some of the best pizza anywhere at that time. And I asked Lewis about the secret recipe. He said there was a secret recipe, and he said, we can't let that out of the family. And
kind of like Kentucky Fried.
That's right. Well, as I understand, when Camp Forest opened up, Joe Rico came from Chicago to visit a buddy at Camp Forest, and then along later comes son Ray, and Ray, they all lay down roots here, and in 1949 or 50, somewhere in that neighborhood, they buy that house over there, and then soon becomes a pizza place. And it was from like 1950 through, I've got the down here somewhere, I won't be able to find it in my notes, 49, remodeled it in 67 because they had a fire there. And then Rico stayed in business till 1972 when Ray was diagnosed with cancer. But it was a real place. Read some of those lyrics from the Tullahoma Dancing Pizza Man. Hey, you can find this on the internet. Anybody who can get on the internet, I can do it, so I suppose most
Well,
of
if
you
you YouTube Eddie Rabbit, Tullahoma Dancing Pizza Man, it'll come right up.
It will.
Yeah.
It will. No problems at all. And I understand from the from some of the people that song by the ones who attend Eddie Rabbit concerts back in the day, of course he's passed away, that they asked for this song. They liked it so much. Go ahead and read those lyrics, Pat.
I'll do it. Tullahoma Dancing Pizza Man takes a water dough and he plops it on the table, makes it flat and round and pours it in a ladle of tomato sauce, spreads it red, thick, and sweet. Takes a big fistful of mozzarella cheese, spreads it around with anchovies, green peppers and onions and mushrooms and a little ground beef. Then he puts it on the shelf and then shoves it in the oven with tender, loving care. He dances around while our tongues hang out and the smell of heaven fills the air. Tullahoma Dancing Pizza Man, make me the juiciest pizza in the land. Hey, I'm no penny pincher, give me that big 16-incher. Whoa, make it go, Tullahoma Dancing Pizza Man. Tullahoma Dancing Pizza Man.
Ain't that something?
It's magnificent. Magnificent is what it is.
Philip, pull up that other picture about, this is a rock and roll group that my brother played in. And second from the right is a fellow named Lee Garner. He's actually from Illinois, but he was lead guitar player for Eddie Rabbit. And he was the one that told me that the people who followed Eddie Rabbit that song was requested many times. My brother is fourth from the left. He's sitting in a chair. He's got a mustache and long hair or hat on or something there, but he looks a little different today.
He's like me, John. He wishes he had that hair back.
That group was called The Man, and they played it over at MTSU. And Jimmy was in several bands. When one failed, he just, they renamed them another name. That boy, by the way, Lee Garner, he's retired and he lives in Illinois. And so, anyway, my brother stays in contact with him. But that is a story about the Tullahoma Pizza Man and about Rico's Pizza.
Now, we always find a way normally to work sports into just about every discussion. One of the Rico boys, was it Harry or Ray Jr., played for Coach Cooper in the mid-'60s.
That would have been Ray Jr., I bet.
Okay. I'm telling you what, he had been into pizza because he was a big boy, and he had calves that looked about the size of my waist. He was a really big guy. Yeah.
I understand, too, that Betty Rico, Ray's wife, she died in 2013, and they met at the Old East Stadium over there.
At Old Wade Field?
Old Wade Field.
Wow.
So a lot of history there, and it was good talking about. We want to say a big howdy to those children still of the Ricos, and hope we did a good job for you on telling about that. Teresa, Harry, Tony, Jeff, and Lewis, and Ray Jr. So
great story, and a great 78 segment, John. A great one.
Hot dog.
But that's not the last story we have. If management will let us continue, we'll be here. Thank y'all.
Talking history about this and that. It's conversations with John and Pat. With John and Pat. With John and Pat. Smoking tobacco accounts for 3 of every 10 fire deaths in the United States.
Tullahoma Fire Department need you en route to a structure fire, 202 Main Street. Heavy smoke showing. Neighbors advise child trapped inside.
Lighters, matches,
and associated smoking paraphernalia are the leading cause of preschooler fire deaths. We as firefighters know that most structure fires can be prevented.
I've got one! I've got one! Command, this is primary search. We have a victim. Need EMS to meet us at the front door.
Please help us to give you a fighting chance. This can be prevented. Contact the Tullahoma Fire Department for a free home safety inspection.
What's a Tennessee vacation? It starts off like any road trip, and then, boom, adventure and thrills everywhere you look, which happens to be some of the most beautiful scenery in the country. Music here, history there, and all kinds of green in between. Come relax and unwind, or bring the crowd for some stargazing, or stargazing. Whatever you do, come hungry and expect an awesome soundtrack. It's all right here in Tennessee. We're playing your song. For a free vacation guide, visit tnvacation.com.
Get your news first, fast, and free with your news leader on 6 every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday nights at 6, 8, and 10 p.m. Local weather, sports, community calendar events, and a comprehensive look at the latest news stories and news makers as only a video news broadcast can do. Get it first, fast, and free with News Leader on Channel 6, your local information network.
Welcome back. We're here just to horse around today, and I have some really cool people with me. Katie Alderman.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for having us.
What is your position with the horseplay?
I'm an instructor at horseplay. Yes, ma'am.
You want to introduce everybody else?
Sure.
Everybody knows Patsy Freeman, I think.
Patsy Freeman, who is on our board, and Loretta Christensen, who is our secretary on our board.
And you guys are really working hard to keep...
We are.
To upgrade, update, and tell me what you want to tell me.
We are so excited. This year we have an opportunity to grow, which we're always working towards. So we're a nonprofit organization that offers therapeutic horseback riding opportunities for children.
You have an age limit.
With disabilities, we do. We offer our services from ages 4 to 18. And they do have to meet some criteria for that. But that's what we offer at this time. And last year we were able to offer positions for 42 riders at our program. And this year, with the addition of a second instructor, we're actually going to have 55 spots open.
That is fabulous.
For riders. So we're very excited.
55 is a large number.
It is.
When do they sign up?
So how that works is if you have a rider that would be interested in participating, the best thing to do is to email us. You can find our email address on our website.
Can you all pick this up in the back?
It's www.horseplayinc, all one word, .org. And that website has all of our contact information, and email is the best way to get in touch with us. And so we are going to start our lessons the first week of April, and we ride from April through November in 8-week blocks.
In 8-week blocks. And do you want to tell what that costs?
So it's free to all of our families.
Isn't that not wonderful?
And riders.
I knew it was, but I just wanted to hear the word.
Yes,
I just love that.
It is. So that's largely due to tremendous donor support and our volunteers. So we have wonderful donors, wonderful sponsors that help care for our horses and provide us with some significant financial opportunities.
That's wonderful. And I know you're having a fundraiser coming up.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
we do. We have the luncheon.
I just wanted to add the community. We've just had wonderful
support. I know you have. This community is a very giving community, and the program that you have, it benefits more than just those that come and ride.
It does.
Think of the caretakers.
It does.
It just
And I do just want to add that this year we are opening some new spots for some of our riders whose primary goal might not be physical. It might be something that is emotional, anxiety, depression, things of that nature.
I'm glad for that.
We are increasing the services that we offer, and we hope to improve the quality of that, as well as
You know, a lot of people don't
community
realize
outreach.
that children can have PTSD just
They
like
can.
soldiers
Yes.
have
Yes,
PTSD, and just an association with an animal, but an animal
Yes.
that you can ride and become a part of. Just think of that.
There is a lot
what
of
that does.
science behind that, which I won't bore you with today, but the ability to befriend a 1,000-pound animal that trusts
yeah.
you with its well-being does wonders for children's self-worth.
Of course it does.
And helps them to conquer things that they struggle with in their other aspects of their
Yeah.
life. So we are excited about that. And of course to continue our traditional therapy service, which is a physical therapy. It does wonders for physical disabilities. So we're just excited.
It's a wonderful program. Loretta, you want to speak on your event coming up to raise money?
Yes, ma'am.
Briefly.
We're having our annual luncheon in May on the 11th. That's on a Friday. And we will start selling tickets for the luncheon and going out getting sponsors and donations.
Is that still at First Methodist?
Yes, ma'am.
They're
It's at
so
First
gracious.
Methodist.
We need to thank First Methodist for
And
their gracious gift,
they're-
and it's always a wonderful meal.
Thank you. And then in June, we're planning to have a barn dance, and we are going to have a silent auction with that, and we are looking for donations to put in the auction. So if anybody out there has a craft, like pottery, painting,
Something they'd like to
quilting,
donate to be
anything that
auctioned
they
off.
want to donate to,
Or a trip to
Africa.
Somewhere
Why not?
sunny
Why
and
not?
warm.
Or a trip to
Jamaica.
Anywhere. But this is a wonderful organization to donate to, and I urge you to dig around with what you can bring up or buy a ticket. And if you can't make it to the luncheon, you can buy a ticket and pick it up and take it home with you.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's always, is it $10 or $12?
$10.
$10.
And I believe it's going to state that if you buy, if 10 tickets are for 12 tickets for $100.
So bring a table of friends.
Yes,
Right.
please.
That's a smart idea.
And there's something that we need to bring up is about our volunteers.
We
You need volunteers.
We do need volunteers. We are excited to add a second instructor, but that also means that we need more volunteers. We're going to offer more riding spots, and so we have 2 opportunities for new volunteers to get involved coming up. We have a new volunteer training. It's going to be on March the 4th.
Okay.
That's a Monday. It'll be at 6 o'clock.
They're
out at the farm, which is...
Give us the location again.
It's 815 West Side Drive.
And it's also on 130, the highway going from
It is
Tullahoma to
also-
Winchester.
yes, ma'am.
Fairly close to town.
People may know it as the Old Shahan Nursery.
And I think it's important that the people, I know we mentioned this, but it's been totally refurbished.
Yes, ma'am.
And our time is actually up.
Okay.
If y'all need to come back next week, just come on. We'll talk some more.
Just find our website.
And the website's on the, please write it down, and don't forget to encourage your friends and neighbors to attend any event that's coming up for Horseplay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you guys for doing this. We'll be back with some other thing.
Oh, hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is the paint. Uh-oh. I just knocked a tree over. This is the paint doctor. I got the color wheel. Now, you know what a color wheel is? It is the wheel at the paint works where you pick all your colors to paint your room. It could be a multicolored beard. It could be a underarm fan. You never can tell. One thing we do know is that it's time to paint. You know, you can make your wife very happy if you go to your house and paint some rooms, or you paint the outside of the house, the inside of the house. It makes them feel very good because you work hard for them and they like that. All women like to see their man sweat, you know? They do. Honeydew is what they do. And you get to do it too. So you go to the paint works at 1960 North Washington Street and you see them. David Heikkinen over there, and he's the real paint doctor. He fix you up with color. It's so nice when the color is right. Go to Paintworks today. Martin Senor. See? Martin Senor. Right there. Martin Senor at the Paintworks. Bye, and we see you next time. I'm burning up.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
We have the most exciting thing happening at the Lunch and Learn program at D.W. Wilson Activity Center, and it is coming up on, February, Lunch and Learn. I'm not sure I have a date. But anyway, please watch for it. For information, just call over there. This is going to be a lady that survived the plane crash that was represented in the movie Sully, and this is on that.
Flight 1549 that's scheduled to fly from New York's LaGuardia Airport to Charlotte, North Carolina. Once in Charlotte, my plan was to board another airplane that would take me safely home to Knoxville. I stepped on board the aircraft, which was an Airbus A320. And the way an A320 is laid out on the inside is you've got a center aisle down the middle, and you've got 3 seats on each side of that aisle, so a total of 6 passengers per row. I take a look at my boarding pass, and I quickly figure out that I've got an aisle seat, which makes me pretty happy because I like aisle seats. But then I became really disappointed when I figured out that my aisle seat was on the very last row of the airplane. And I can't tell you why. I typically like to sit closer to the front of the plane. But I'm making my way through the people and over the PA system. They're telling us it's a completely full flight, find our seats, stow our belongings, we're already behind schedule. So I get to my seat and I put my briefcase up in the overhead and I'm just about ready to sit down. But I noticed something a little odd. Because draped across the back of my seat was a baby blue baby blanket. So I grabbed the blanket, I see the flight attendant in the galley, and I said, "Ma'am, this isn't my blanket." She said, "Oh, I'll take it, I'll take it." Well, beyond her, I see a mom in the galley with a young baby, and I thought, well, there's the rightful owner of the blanket. So I sat down in my seat and looked to my right and noticed that no one was yet in the middle seat, but there was already a gentleman at the window. Corporate professional, looked to be about my age. And you know, sometimes I'm chatty when I get on airplanes, and sometimes I'm not. It sort of depends on my mood. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to strike up a conversation with this guy. Well, the way I did that was that I noticed on the empty seat in between us was a magazine. And it was a magazine about hang gliding. And I said, "Oh, you're into gliding." He said, "Well, I'm into hang gliding." Well, I proceeded to go down this tangent and explain to him how my husband Steve and his brother had just taken a glider plane trip over Chilhowie Mountain, which is near Chattanooga. Well, he kindly explains to me how glider planes and hang gliding really have nothing in common. In fact, with hang gliding, there's no plane. But he said to me, he said, because that's my hobby, he said, I always pick a window seat because I like to look out. And I said, oh, I always pick an aisle seat because I like to get out. So we're both pretty happy at this point. Well, after 3:20, they close the front boarding door and we start backing away from the gate. Well, as we back away from the gate, I realized that no one has ever come to sit in our empty middle seat, even though they've been telling us it's this completely full flight. So as we back away, I literally looked at my seatmate and I said, well, this must be our lucky day. Because we're going to have all this elbow room sharp, right? A little did I know how true those words would be in less than about 10 minutes. Sometimes I am asked if it was a completely full flight, why did we have an empty seat in between us? And that's because the baby counted as a passenger, even though he was sitting in his mother's lap. For LaGuardia standards, it really didn't take us very long to get to the runway, get our clearance for takeoff, and go barreling down the runway when we initially climbed out of LaGuardia. And for the first 90 seconds, it was like every other plane trip I've ever been on. But somewhere between 90 seconds and 2 minutes, at an altitude of just about 3,000 feet, we hear this boom. And the plane dropped, not a lot, just a little bit. But I looked at my seatmate and I said, what was that? And he said, it was birds. I said, oh. And then I looked to my left and I see smoke and I smell this awful, awful odor that we now know is burning goose flesh. They didn't serve y'all chicken for lunch, did they? If they did, apologies. But that had this memory in my mind. Because about 10 years before this, I was on a flight that was a very turbulent flight. You may have been on those yourself. You're just sort of bouncing around, a little nervous, a little sick to your stomach. And I remember that when I was on board that particular flight, there was a pilot who was a passenger like I was. I recall that he leaned over to me and he said, ma'am, do not worry about turbulence. He said, that is just a customer service problem. He said, all we worry about in the cockpit are birds and fire. I thought, great, we've got both birds and fire. This is not good. About that time, the flight attendant comes up from the rear galley and she's trying to get something from behind my seat. So I presumed it was a fire extinguisher, so I got out of my seat to grant her access. And she and I had a little bit of a heated exchange. Because I said, do you want me to call for the flight attendant? She says, I am the flight attendant. I'm like, I know, but do you want help from the front? And she said, no ma'am, I want you to sit back down. But she told me she wanted me to sit in the middle seat that had previously been empty in case she needed that aisle seat. So I sat down in the middle seat, buckled up as tightly as I could, and I looked at my seatmate and I said, I have 3 children to raise. Kind of like nobody else on board had anything to live for. But I've got 3 kids to raise. And he looked at me very calmly and he said, I have a daughter and I'm going to see her tonight. Well, I tell you, I wanted to plead him with every fiber of my being, but I didn't. I'm an engineer. I'm a frequent flyer. And I realized at this point, there's no thrust, there's no engine noise, and we aren't flying. And typically, jetliners don't crash and have people walk away. So I found myself sitting in a moment that I truly believe was my very last. So I'll ask you, if you found yourself sitting in a moment that you truly believe was your very last, who would you want to call? More importantly, what would you say? Well, the answer for me is pretty easy. I thought of Steve, I thought of our children, I thought, shame on Steve and me, because we both travel a lot, and we don't keep up with details like what airline, what flight number, what connection city. So I thought, he doesn't even know I'm on board this plane. It could take him hours, days, a week to get confirmation. So I looked down at my feet, and there's my purse with my BlackBerry telephone sticking out. So I pulled out my BlackBerry, I turned it on, and I sent Steve a text message. And it was a 1-sentence text message that said, my flight is crashing, period. Now, as a graduate of the University of Tennessee, I will brag and tell you it had perfect punctuation and spelling. Steve later got on to me. He's like, honey, did you not say I love you or kiss the kids or it was real? But I told him, I said, as I was typing it, my seatmate said, put that up. You're out of time. Really? Really, God, at 37, I'm out of time? My great-grandmother, she had her hip replaced at age 104. On this particular day, 3 of my 4 grandparents were still alive. So it'd be a bit of an understatement to say, I come from some pretty good genes. And I always pictured 97 at the nursing home for me, not 37 in a plane crash. But fortunately, I accepted the Lord in my heart a long time ago, so I was very clear on where I was going. I do remember thinking, well, God, if this is your will, I accept it. But I'm not crazy about it. I'll take a little bit of a time out here and tell you about the atmosphere on board the airplane at this point. It was really about as quiet as it is in this room. From where I was sitting, I could hear no yelling, no screaming, no panic, no engine noise. The only sound I remember hearing was just this loud whoosh of air going by. Have you ever been in one of those automated car washes and the big dryers come up over your car at the end? Well, that's precisely what it sounded like. And the passengers on board our flight. Like most flights today, we represented a cross-section of this great country. We were male, we were female, we were young, we were old. We were corporate CEOs, and we were housewives. We were Buddhists, we were Muslims, we were Christians, and we were atheists. We came from all walks of life. And after the experience, most of us were interviewed, and we were asked, so what was going through your mind in the 3.5 minutes, which is the time when the birds knocked out both our engines, to the time we landed on the Hudson River? What was going through your mind? Well, interestingly enough, we fell into two pretty distinct groups. There was the first group that reported that their life sort of flashed before their eyes. They did that rewind on their life. Then there was the other group, which happens to be the group that I fell into. They were thinking about all the things we were going to miss. I'm not going to be the mother of the bride. I won't see my youngest son in his first home. Who's going to plan their birthday parties? So I was very sad about all the things I was going to miss. And then over the PA system came the most calm, steady, in-control voice that I've ever heard. And that voice said two really short sentences. He said, this is the captain. Brace for impact. Well, the brace position for me was I was sitting in my seat, and I hold my arms underneath my legs, sort of folded down into like a sandwich, if you will. And from the back of the plane, I could hear the flight attendant chanting, brace, brace, heads down. Brace, brace, heads down. Feet flat on the floor. Brace, brace, heads down. It was just this melodic chant over and over and over again. And then in my ear, I hear my seatmate, who I kid you not, is still looking out the window. He says to me, be ready, we're going to the water. Well, I told you, I'm an engineer, so I like data, I like information, but I was not 100% sure what to do with that tidbit of information. You know, do I take off my shoes? Do I hold my breath? How do I get ready to go in the water in this airplane? So I thought, okay, airplane water landing. Most likely what's going to happen is this plane is going to cartwheel. It's going to bust into a lot of different pieces. So Valley, if you're conscious, just swim to the light. Swim to the light, that's what I told myself. And I think this is an example of one of those times where mentally, what we get ourselves prepared for has a whole lot to do with how well we accept the reality of the situation when it actually occurs. Because mentally, I got prepared for the very worst. But fortunately, the worst didn't happen that day because Captain Sullenberger and First Officer Skiles made a textbook landing on the Hudson River. And part of that landing required that they bring the tail of the airplane down first and hit the water at about 160 miles an hour. Well, I had the good fortune of sitting in the tail of the airplane that hit the river at 160 miles an hour. And I won't lie to you, it was rough, and it was violent, and it shook a lot. But when we seemingly stopped, and I looked up, and I was in one piece, and that plane was in one piece, my first thought was, well, that wasn't that bad. I had worse landings on runways. Now, the first words I said, I did not remember saying until I met my seatmate about 9 months later, and he told me what I said, and it is embarrassing. But you all seem nice, so I'm going to tell you anyway. He said, I popped my head up, I looked at him, I said, open that window. He's like, okay, where's the button? You all are really smart, you know that airplane windows don't open. But when you're sitting on the last row of the plane, if you even remotely listen to the pre-flight instructions or taking a look at the safety card that I would encourage each and every one of you to look at each and every time you board an airplane, there's one thing you know for sure. Your closest exit is behind you. So I bolt to the galley. I'm the first passenger in the rear galley. And when I get there, the flight attendant's to my right. She does not realize we're in the water, and she's trying to crack open the left rear door. Well, I went over to begin assisting her in trying to open that door. Well, there's no way we're going to get that door. The water pressure on the outside is a lot stronger than she and I are. And then she looks around and she says, oh no, we're in the water. She said, you've got 2 minutes, go to the wings. She was gone. But this time, more passengers are coming to the galley and they're trying to get the right rear door. And it won't open either. And this is the point where I experienced my scariest moment. Even scared before we landed in the river. Because in a matter of seconds, the water went from my ankles to above my chest. And it was 35-degree water on a 22-degree day. So it was Titanic. It felt like needles in my body. And I remember thinking, oh Lord, please do not let me drown. I do not want to drown. And as crazy as hokey as this may sound, I had this peace come over me. I had this calm, and I instinctively knew that panicking was not going to save my life. I knew I had to get off that airplane. Now look in front of me, in that nice, quiet, peaceful airplane atmosphere I was telling you about a few minutes ago, well, that's a thing of the past. It is mass chaos. People are crying, people are screaming, people are climbing over the seats. Some people are trying to get their luggage out of the overhead. That's not even a joke. But a lot of passengers in the rear rows are still trying to come to the back, thinking the closest exit is the back. Well, I'm 100% sure we're not getting out the back. I mean, the back is sinking. So I did the only thing that I could do. In the strongest, loudest southern voice I could muster, I put up both my hands and began chanting, go to the wings, go to the wings, go to the wings. You know, after the experience, I had a reporter interview me, and he said, Mrs. Collins, what you did directing people to the wings, he said, it was just so heroic. I told him, I said, no sir. I said, there was no heroism involved at all. I simply wanted out. We're all in my way. My mama told me not to push. But people started to hear me. They started to turn. They started to move towards the wings. And as they moved towards the wings, it was like walking uphill. You have this still picture? It's okay. It doesn't matter if you don't. It was like walking uphill. And as you walked uphill, the water started to subside. There was a seat cushion floating by, about shoulder level. So I grabbed it, put it in my right arm. I continued to chant, go to the wings, until I got to probably around row 15 or 16. And that's when I could see the light of day. Because the over the wing exits were rows 10 and 11. And once I could see the light of day, my chant turned into stay calm, keep moving, God's good, we're going to make it. And I made it. I took a right-hand turn, I came out on the right wing, and I wasn't one of the people way out on the wings because I was one of the last passengers out, so I was standing pretty close to the fuselage of the airplane. But I stepped out onto the icy wing, and I remember having two really clear, distinct thoughts. And the first thought came when I looked to my left, and about 400 yards in the distance, I could see the first ferry boat approaching. It was the New York Waterways Thomas Jefferson. And as they say, she was coming full steam ahead. And I saw that boat approaching, and I thought, I'm not dying today. Today's not going to be the day. In the past 7-8 minutes, I really thought twice that I was going to die. But these people are going to save us. And I tell you, Sully, he did a fantastic job of getting our airplane safely in the river. But had it not been for the immediate, effective, and collective efforts of the first responders of New York and New Jersey, I do not believe we would have had 155 survivors. Our airplane sunk in 24 minutes. And in less than 17 minutes, they had all 155 of us safely rescued. So as Sullenberger says of them, thank you, just seems so inadequate. But I always like to say thanks to them and to all first responders that put their lives on the line to save ours each and every day. And then my second thought was, why didn't this happen in June?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back, and I tell you what, I love nothing better than ham, and I've got two hams here with me today. Starting off with George Stone, we're getting ready to have the Ham Fest, George.
Yes, it will be March the 9th, was it 9th?
March the 9th.
And it'll be over to First Methodist Church. Starts at 8 o'clock. Kids under 15 get in free. If you're ham, you can come on in. We also have Storm Smarters class in there, too, for somebody that wants to come in to it. And this is about the 15th or 16th year that we put on a Ham Fest, and as it happens, one of the first was held in this building, and we moved over to the Methodist Church and been there for the last 5 or 6 years. Fine facility. We've got food. We've got Boston butts for sale.
Ooh.
So
that sounds good right there.
Yeah, and just come on out. If you're a ham, you're welcome. If you're not a ham, pay you $5 and come on in and look at the stuff, and maybe you'll find something interesting, because we have other things there that you don't have to be a ham to be. We got old radios, and people kind of clean out their closet.
This is a sales event. There'll be things for people to buy. A swap meet.
It's a swap meet. That's exactly
well,
what it is.
introduce your friend here.
This is Larry Cagle here, and he's our Ham Fest committee chairman, and quite technically involved. He's kind of our technician of the club. He's got some nice equipment and stuff that he's done. It's a learning process for the Ham Fest, but he's doing a great job, and we're going to have really a good one.
Well, you know, Larry had something here that interests me. You know, we all in our groups, the Ham group, the American Legion, social clubs, military groups, are having a hard time engaging the younger people.
That's true.
And because they don't see maybe how this is fun or something, or maybe it costs too much to get involved. You interested me with this little gizmo you have right here, and I'd like for you to explain what you brought on the show today.
Well, amateur radio organizations around the world have launched 70 or so, I believe, satellites paid for, built by amateurs and paid for by amateurs. And I just wanted to bring this along today because this little radio is just a little handheld walkie-talkie. We call them in the amateur radio hobby, we call them handy-talkies. But it's an inexpensive little radio that operates on 2 meters and on UHF on 440. And this is a little homemade antenna. The two of these together can be used by anyone with an amateur license to talk to the International Space Station.
The space station?
The International Space Station has 2 sets of ham radio equipment, one in the Russian segment and one in the American segment. They're paid for by the amateurs themselves through the ARRL and through the AMSAT organization. And they're maintained by those same people. So a number of the astronauts, as a part of their preparation to go to the space station, become amateurs. They get an amateur license, just like we all do. And they then operate a schedule where when they fly over nations, whether it's the United States or Cuba or whatever nation that has young people that are interested in space, interested in communications, they can talk, their schools can talk directly with the space station and with the astronauts.
That's really cool.
Ask questions.
Yeah, and about 10 years ago, St. Paul School did that.
Oh yeah, I remember that. We had them on the television about that.
Set up, and the students there talked to the space station as it went over, and it was quite well received.
So I was listening to WSM AM radio today, and they were talking about back in the day when you would sit with your transistor radio, or maybe even a crystalline, even older than that, and search and see what you could find. And you could find Chicago, or you could find the AM stations, and how exciting it was as a young person to sit by that radio and find out what was going on somewhere. And so now, for less money probably than that radio cost, you can take this right here, and a young person right now can talk to outer space.
That's true. And
How exciting is that?
Not just the space station. There are, excuse me, there are some 30 or 35 active satellites that belong to various amateur licensees that were put in space through AMSAT or foreign amateur radio organizations that are active ham stations in space. And you can talk to each of those using equipment like this. Some of the modes are more complex and require a little bit more equipment, but the simplest of them are accomplished.
And you say it costs about $1 to make that antenna?
Well, something like that. It's made out of scrap.
$10 maybe is more like, because he's a machinist, so.
Oh, well.
But it's inexpensive.
His time's not worth it.
It's inexpensive, and I guarantee, probably if you had a young person that said, I'm a ham and I'm really interested, I could talk him into making him one.
There you go.
Well, I put a little effort into building it, but the fact is that it could have been easily made from scrap wire.
Sure.
It's just a little piece of PVC water pipe and some wire. That's all.
So you young people out there, you want to get interested in something new and exciting, these guys can show you how to talk into space, man. And that can be found out at the Ham Fest. And give us the dates on that again.
The Ham Fest is March 9th and in Tullahoma.
Right, Methodist Church.
At the Methodist Church.
And that'd be in their big gymnasium type,
Family
right?
Activity
Family
Center.
Activity Center.
You go, but
there's going to be
the
food.
post office, church, just go between
The
it.
best Ham Fest food in the state of Tennessee. I guarantee it.
You've been to several of them.
I have.
All right, you got food, you've got fun, you've got an opportunity to swap or maybe buy a piece of equipment that you see that you might be interested in that someone's trying to get rid of.
And we have a testing set up for anyone who's interested in becoming a ham.
Okay.
We've got testing facilities. You can
Very
come
good.
in and take the test. Or you can come in, if you're not prepared to take the test, you can come in and find out what's necessary to get a license.
And anybody in the club will be happy to facilitate somebody learning this stuff.
All right, these two hams right here invite you to the Ham Fest. That's on the 9th at the Methodist Church. And for the three of us hams, thanks for watching today. We'll see you next
Can
time.
I put a plug in for the girls basketball team?
No, it's done.
They did.
We're done.